to the fifth week of podcast for us for the Poor Man's Playbook. Let's see. Yeah, this will be our 6th week of betting on these games and tracking them. Pretty exciting.
Agreed. We had a tough week last week, but I think we're both ready to bounce back this week. I'm kind of excited.
Tough weeks. And we will not be doing a recap on this episode because we already did on Sunday. So
you want to check that out? That's up on our YouTube page.
Exactly. So for this episode, we're just going to hop right into the college football playoff rankings. We want to talk about that a little bit, and then we are going to go right into our locks.
All right. You ready to go? Talk about these atrocious rankings?
Yeah, let's talk about them real quick. All right. Georgia number 1 made sense.
That's probably the only thing on here that I totally agree with. But 2 through 25, there's maybe like 3 of them that I'm fine with.
Yeah, I don't like a lot of them. Obviously, I like Bama at number 2 because I have a Bama future on national championship. Michigan State, I love Michigan State.
I love it. I don't know if they should be at 3, but I love them at 3.
I like them too, and
but
Oregon.
That might be one of the worst rankings I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't understand this. A loss to Stanford is not a good team, and they beat Ohio State, yes, but they beat Ohio State in the second week of the season. I mean, I don't know. Ohio State, I feel like, has looked a lot better in the past 3 to 4 weeks, and Oregon has not looked that great. I mean,
not at all.
They scraped by Cal, so I don't know. I don't really like that. Number 4, I think Ohio State's better than Oregon. I know the only reason they can't do it is the head-to-head.
I think there's at least 5 teams ranked below Oregon that should be ranked above Oregon.
Like, Oklahoma is better than Oregon.
Yeah, well, what's crazy is they put Oklahoma at 8 because they scraped by some bad teams. And you know what Oregon did? They scraped by some bad teams. And not only that, they have, out of the top 10, they have the worst loss out of anyone ranked in the top 10 to a bad Stanford team. I could go on about this for days, but they have the best win in the top 10, but they easily have the worst loss, and putting them at number 4, especially with how they played against an average UCLA team and a really bad Cal team, I just think this is atrocious. And if Oregon somehow wins out, which I don't think they will, and wins the Pac-12 and makes the playoffs, that's just disrespectful to have all 129 other teams in FBS.
Yeah, I don't understand the pick either. I mean, I just think I understand with the Oklahoma, yeah, they scraped by some games, but also I feel you have to look at the bigger picture. They got a new quarterback now, and they've been a lot better with him. So I don't understand why I feel like they're penalizing Oklahoma for Spencer Rattler. It's like they still won the games, and they're 9-0 in a better conference than the Pac-12. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that rank. I don't understand it. I mean, Wake Forest hasn't really played any competition, so I understand them at 9. I like that fine.
I'm fine with that.
I like that. I also think that Cincinnati would beat Oregon, I think.
I do too. I would have been perfectly fine with Cincinnati at 5 and Oregon at 6 or 7.
Yeah. I don't mind the top 2 that much. I really don't. I mean, do you really see? I know Alabama's 7-1.
I mean,
do you really see them losing to it?
The only thing is, I mean, I could see Auburn beating them if I'm being honest.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe
but
this like top 10.
This top 10, I don't know. It's just it depends if they play the whole way how they start games versus like how they finish games. Like I don't know. I don't think Michigan State could. I think Alabama would beat Oregon by 40. I think Ohio State would have the potential to beat them. I don't think Cincinnati, not Michigan, not Oklahoma, and not Wake Forest or Notre Dame. So I really think the teams with the best chance to beat Alabama or Georgia, Ohio State, and possibly Michigan State.
I even think Michigan State, to be
I
honest. I mean, I think that, like, I don't know. I think, I mean, I agree with the Georgia and the Ohio State, and I think maybe Oklahoma. I think that Oklahoma is like criminally underrated right now at 8. I think that's ridiculous. Oklahoma's better than. I mean, the problem with Cincinnati is that, like, I think personally that Oklahoma is better than Cincinnati. I would put Oklahoma at the 3 spot and Cincinnati in the 4 spot.
I don't I don't know if I'd necessarily agree with that, considering how Oklahoma played against Kansas with
They
Caleb
won
Williams
and they
against
scored like
Kansas
43 points.
against Kansas.
Hey,
It
wrong
was
chalk
close.
Jayhawk. Wrong chalk
Kansas was
Jayhawk.
winning most of that game,
You're right. You're right.
but the only thing about Alabama being at 2 that I have a problem with is the way they ranked the other teams does not go along with how they ranked Alabama. Like if you look just solely resume wise, which is why they have Cincinnati at 6 and Oklahoma at 8, and then when you do head to head, Oregon's above Ohio State, and later in the rankings, Mississippi State above Kentucky, and the other teams that shouldn't even be in the top 25, like Wisconsin and Minnesota. But Alabama's best win, according to the college football playoff, is 16 Ole Miss, and their loss is to Texas A&M, while Cincinnati and Oregon both have a top 10 win, and Michigan State. Those 3 teams have a top 10 win, but Alabama's best win is 16. So resume wise, it's kind of controversial. And I also hate how they ranked the bottom of the top 25 just to basically not let Cincinnati in the playoffs, because Wisconsin has no business being in the top 25. I think SMU and Houston would both beat Wisconsin and Minnesota and Kentucky and NC State, and the way I was playing against them. So I think they just put teams like Wisconsin and Minnesota to make Ohio State look better and make it a less chance of Cincinnati beating a ranked team, because they don't want to include other American Conference teams in the rankings just to keep Cincinnati out. And basically, these rankings say is, we're not letting you in because you're a Group of 5 school, whether you are better. Because I think they're a better team than Oregon. So,
Yeah, I just don't understand, like, what are you even supposed to do if you're in the AAC then? Like, what's the point? It's like, Cincinnati's had one of the best runs of any team. It's like with UCF. I mean, remember when UCF was snubbed and they called themselves from the BCS? And they
yeah.
were like, oh, we're the champion, stuff like that. I mean, it's a little different, but at the same time, it's like this is an undefeated team that's been playing really, really well. And what do
Mm-hmm.
they have to do? Like, why is pardon me. Why is Oregon above them? Like, I understand Alabama.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that Cincinnati would beat Alabama most likely. Like,
No.
if they played 10 games, maybe they beat them once or twice. But like in a normal setting, I think that Alabama is going to beat up on Cincinnati. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Oregon would. Like, Cincinnati's a better football team than Stanford. Cincinnati's a better football
Yeah.
team than a lot of these than
Cal.
UCLA, than Cal. Like, they're a lot better team than the teams that they've scraped by. So I don't see why Cincinnati wouldn't be better than Oregon. I also don't understand. Like, I understand like, the draw. Like, I feel like the college football playoff has a lot of TV ratings in mind. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I would rather watch Cincinnati play than Oregon. I don't even know who's like an Oregon fan. Like, I don't. Do you actually know
No.
any real Oregon fans? Like,
I mean, granted, we are from the South, but I've in my life
still, like,
met one single Oregon fan.
exactly. And it's like,
Like,
yeah, we're in the South, but like at the same time, like it's not like there's like that many people in Oregon as a state. Like,
no.
I
Uh,
mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, let me look up how big Oregon Stadium is. Their capacity is 54,000 people. Um, I mean,
not
I just
that
don't
impressive.
understand. It's not, no, it's not big at all. I mean, it's a small stadium, so it's like, why is Oregon? If it's for TV ratings, like, why is Oregon? I understand Michigan State. Like, Michigan State's a huge football program. Like that makes sense for TV ratings. But like I'd rather see Cincinnati face off against Georgia in the first round, like or at least see Cincinnati face off against someone else in the first round. Like I don't. This is why I feel like there should be 8 teams in it.
Mhm.
Like I feel like
Well,
with
I
8,
I agree. I mean, I think if you expand it, it'll make people are tired of seeing Alabama, Ohio State every year. If you give another team a shot, like you never know, this could be Cincinnati's year. I mean, if they let UCF in the playoffs that one year, they could have won it. I mean, you never really know like what what's going to happen in a game, like what penalties or what where the ball's going to bounce. Like,
exactly. Like it's like if you look at like the Illinois game, like Illinois Penn State, like Illinois is over 1,000 plus plus 1,000 something right in that game
mhm,
in the money line. It's like that is insane odds. It's totally likely that like that kind of stuff could happen. So I don't
yeah,
know.
but
I'm not a big. I don't like that move. I hope that Oregon loses again because I want to see Cincinnati move up. Like, there's no way someone else leapfrogs Cincinnati at this point, though. Like,
exactly
I hope that
only
I would love to see
Oklahoma
Michigan
can.
State beat Ohio State and Oregon lose to I don't care who, and then we see hopefully Cincinnati move up in a spot. So
Yeah,
I
because
don't
they can't let Michigan. If Michigan goes and loses to Ohio State, well, they're not going to let a two-loss Michigan who can't make their conference championship over an undefeated Cincinnati.
exactly.
But
Um,
yeah, I because even last year Alabama versus Ohio State, the title game was it had a drop of 27%, which was 7 million viewers compared to the previous year's title game, and it was short. The ratings fell short of every college football championship since 2015.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I think that kind of shows how. I mean, the rankings are clearly for TV viewership, but in reality, I think people are tired of seeing Alabama versus Ohio State. And Clemson's not in it this year, but they would be in the mix even if their one loss was to
Exactly.
Georgia and they barely beat all these other teams.
Yeah. Like if we got a Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, and Ohio State final, or somehow like an Oklahoma, like that would pretty much be the exact same thing that always happens. Like
Yeah,
other
I
than
don't even know
Clemson
if I'd
being
want to
out of
watch
it,
it.
I mean, I just wouldn't be interested. Like, I mean, I would watch it obviously and probably bet on the games, but like I'm not. I want to see a new team. I want to see Michigan State in there. I want to see Cincinnati. I don't even mind Michigan. I would like to see Michigan in there. I'd
Yeah,
like to see Wake Forest or not Notre Dame. I hate Notre Dame. I'm tired of them.
no.
Notre Dame's overranked in my opinion in this. I mean, they have not had that impressive of wins, but whatever. Okay.
But I mean, yeah, the only thing, well, I wouldn't say I wouldn't. I mean, I did say, but I would watch it, but I wouldn't be as interested. Like last year with the playoffs, I did not care for either of the semifinals or the championship nearly as much as I cared for the Georgia versus Cincinnati bowl game. I watched that like I did not care about
And it
Alabama
was a
Notre
close
Dame.
game. It was a close
Yeah.
game.
Well, yeah, that was a close. That came down to the wire. That was one of the best bowl games of the season. And like, I was genuinely entertained by it.
Yeah.
I knew Alabama was going to run over Notre Dame. Everyone knew that. And even though it was supposed to be a good game, I didn't watch a second of Clemson, Ohio State. And the only reason I watched Alabama, Ohio State in full was because I went to a friend's house to watch it. But it wasn't even entertaining. So like I would rather watch Cincinnati get blown out than Notre Dame get blown out because I'd anticipate watching the group of five team come in and be like, this is why we deserve it, or be like, oh, it's not their year. Maybe
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. We spent way too much time talking about this, so let's go ahead and let's move on to our locks. We're gonna lock it up for you guys right after this short break, and we are back. Poor man's playbook with your locks for this week. Locking it up for you guys. All right. I took
Walked up
9
like a dog in a
games.
kennel.
Tony took 9 games. I'm excited. I'm ready to get into this. We're trying to come back. Just an update on the schedule, just so everyone knows right now. When we get into it, just a little We'll just talk about like our best teams right now and everything. So last week I went 3-6. Tony went 1-7. Pretty rough week. Brings our totals to 18-22 for me on the season, and 18-21 for Tony on the season, setting me half a game behind. What a comeback! What a comeback!
Sir.
Putting me half a game behind. I'm 2-3 against the money line. Tony's 1-5, and I am 16-18 against the spread, and Tony's 17-17. Just a quick go over. I made our best and worst teams. So our best teams have to have a minimum of 3 times we bet on them, and our worst teams have to have a minimum of 2 times. So my best teams are Michigan State, obviously, then Oregon State, and then UCLA at 500. Michigan State's 3-0, Oregon State's 2-1, and UCLA is 2-2. And my worst team to bet on has been Florida at 0-2, and that's the only team I have at 0-2 like that. I have a fair amount of 1-1s, but I didn't want to do like a 10-way tie. Tony's best team is Michigan State at 4-0 and Oklahoma State at 2-0. You don't have any other teams that you've bet on more than 3 times that go above 500.
I'm surprised I bet on Oklahoma State twice.
Yeah. Maybe you're at 3-0 on it. I don't know why I would have included it if it wasn't. I don't know.
No, I'm saying I'm surprised I did it more than once.
Oh yeah. And then your worst teams to bet on have been Arkansas at 0-2 still, and UCLA at 2-3. You have a couple other ones that were like 1-1s, but I was not going to include a team that's 500. Here's the best part though: our combined, so 4+ games on the 4+ games for the wins, right? Michigan State we're 7-0 on them.
Sparty.
Yep. Oklahoma State we're 4-0. And can you guess the third team? It has to be above 4 games we bet on.
Above 4 bets.
Yeah.
Between, so not Michigan State. I'm gonna say, and not Oklahoma State. Who have we bet on multiple times on? I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark and say, is it Georgia?
No, it's Oregon State, 3-2.
Oh, don't say that.
Even after we both lost, Georgia we are 2-1, but they didn't clear the 4-game threshold.
Gotcha.
And I didn't think it really. I mean, over 5 weeks of it, and us picking games every time, like if we haven't bet on teams combined more than 3 games, like come on.
Gotcha.
And the worst teams for us to bet on have been Tennessee at 0-2, Arkansas at 1-3, and BYU at 1-2 still. So I don't think we made a lot of the same mistakes we did last time. But you know what? Iowa is also at 1-2 as well. So Iowa has been a bad beat.
Yeah, very bad.
I hate Iowa. All right, let's go ahead and get into these. We ready?
I'm ready.
Let's lock it up. You want to start, or do you want me to kick it off?
I have a Friday night game, so I'll start with that.
Okay, yeah, we'll start with that. Virginia Tech at Boston College. What do you have?
I have Virginia Tech -3.
VT -3. I don't mind it.
I saw someone on, I'm not sure which ESPN channel it was, but someone took Boston College +3 for whatever reason. But I don't know. I think these are both relatively even teams, but Boston College started off 4-0, and they've lost every game since. So they're on a cold streak. Apparently, they posted some TikTok saying after they're 4-0, saying this is your time to submit your application for the Boston College bandwagon. And since posting that, they're 0-4. So they curse themselves. I'm gonna say they go 0-5, and I've lost with the Hokies before, but you won with them last week. So I'm kind of going back. I love Virginia Tech. They're one of my NCAA 14 teams. I got to stick with them. Go Hokies. -3.
Hey, I don't hate that. I kind of like that actually. So, hey, go Hokies. They won for me the money line last week. So, I mean, I like that. I didn't really look a lot at this game because I was just not that interested in it. But cool. All right, that was an interesting first one. I think I'm gonna go in chronological order, like 'cause that's just how I set it up, like down the day. So my first game I'm taking is at 11:30. It's the Army at Air Force matchup.
Hey,
Service Academy. Pretty exciting. I have Army at plus 2.5, which I thought was kind of nice. Nice little steal there. Reasons for it: it's a triple option matchup, right? So it's going to come down to the run game. Okay, right? Army put up 179 rush yards on Wisconsin, who has the number one rush defense in yards, yards allowed per game on the ground. Wisconsin only allows 49.6 yards, and Army put up 179 against them. Now, Air Force did put up 192 against San Diego State University, your boys, who allows 92 yards per game and is number 6 in rush defense. But I feel like SDSU and Wisconsin are not on the same level even when it comes to like yards per game. Like 92 yards per game is a lot more impressive against Wisconsin than it is SDSU because they just don't play the same kind of caliber, especially on the run. You know,
mhm.
um, and then Army run allows 7 less yards per yards per game than Air Force does. So I'm into that. I think that this is going to be like one of those triple option, like they're just going to run the ball a bunch, and it's probably going to be like low scoring. Um, but I think that Army has a slight edge just because I think both of their pass attacks are similar, and I think you know I just feel like Army has a little bit better rush defense and rush offense. So give me the Black Knights, or what are they called?
I think
I don't
you're
even know.
right.
I think so. Not exactly sure, but
Pretty
whatever.
sure.
Any thoughts on that one?
I um I don't hate it. I kind of it says it's being played in Arlington, Texas. Interesting. Um I don't hate it. I kind of like Air Force because I haven't taken them yet, but I've looked at them on a couple bets this year, and I kind of like they're 6-2, and Army's lost their last three, but I don't know. I think plus 2.5 is fair. The over under is 38, so I do think it's going to be very low scoring. Like you said, the whole triple option run game. So I don't hate it. I think it could happen.
All right. So I'm feeling about it. So, all right. What's your next game you're going to go to?
Um, I'm just going with how I wrote these down. I have Ole Miss versus Liberty minus 9.5.
I
Um,
saw that. I looked at it today at 10, minus 10.
yeah, I don't know how I got it at 9.5, but I did. But I think they have similar play styles, but one's independent and the other is in the SEC. So I'm going to take Ole Miss on this. I mean, I think if Matt Corral comes back, a little, have the week off, come back a little healthier, I think he's just gonna kind of go off against this Liberty team. I mean, they have roughly the same points per game and passing yards per game, and they both only have 2 losses this year. But if you look at their losses, Liberty lost to Syracuse and Louisiana Monroe, while Ole Miss lost to Alabama and Auburn. So I think that kind of shows the state of these two teams. I mean, like I said, I think they kind of have a similar style, but I think Ole Miss will definitely. I think they'll win by 10. I think they'll definitely win. I like 10-17 for the win margin on this one. Do you have any
Yeah,
play?
I have no play on that game either. We actually picked a lot of different games from each other. We only have
Okay.
3 games in common this week, which kind of sucks because we won't have as much to talk about.
Yeah.
But I had no play on this. I didn't really. I just had other games that I wanted to watch more than this one, and I liked more. So and I do think they're going to cover this. I don't see a problem with that. The only reason they wouldn't is because they have one of the worst defenses in college football. That's what makes me hesitant about it. Is if you look at it, let me pull up the rankings real quick. But they have. I was looking at it today. I was just kind of thumbing through everything. I was actually really surprised to see them. Yeah, 104th in yards allowed per game, um, which is pretty insane. I think.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
No, it's not pretty. Not that I'm really going to hold a lot of weight in Liberty's stats on defense, but just to like for fun, like just to look at them. for total offense, they're at 32nd. So they average 445.3 yards a game. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a high scoring game. This is one that I was thinking more of the over, but was that like 76 or something
It's at
ridiculous?
67.
Okay, 67. Okay, I just mixed up the numbers then. So I was just like, I don't know about all that. So,
Yeah, that I thought about taking the over too, but last time you took it over with Ole Miss, you did not hit it. So when they played
exactly.
Alabama, so I didn't.
Exactly.
I stayed away from the over, and I like the spread.
No, I liked it as well. So that's just kind of how I felt about it.
I got you.
Did you take the Blues money line or did you take them spread? Sorry,
I took them money line.
money line. I might double down with you on that one. Yeah, I am.
St. Louis. Yeah. So what's your next lock of the week?
My next lock it up. Let's see. I have the Wake Forest at UNC game. I'm going with Wake plus 2.5. I like this.
Okay.
I have a pretty straightforward reason why I did this. I only have 2 bullet points for this entire thing. Okay, Wake is a better team than UNC, and they're somehow underdogs. And they're undefeated, and UNC has lost to Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech, who are not good football teams. They're average football teams at best. That's pretty much all I have about it. I didn't feel like I needed to dive deep into statistics. Like, they're number 10 in the AP poll, and they're number 9 in the college football playoffs. Like, why is UNC a favorite? I don't understand this. It's not like UNC is like some home field team. I don't even understand. I mean, didn't UNC lose to Fort? Yeah, they lost to Florida State. I mean, I don't know. I don't. The only reason I could see this somehow is just like if there's like a miracle kind of like upset. But like, I'm surprised that Vegas has it this. Cause I feel like if an unranked team beat the number 9 team, it's considered an upset. But for some reason, it's not.
Yeah, I looked at this. I didn't take it. I felt kind of scared by it, but I do think it's weird how UNC's favored. Um, I do think Wake Forest is the better team. I only stayed away from it because of how close they were to Louisville, Syracuse, and I know they put up 70 on Army, but they let Army score 56 points. So I kind of wanted to stay away from it because UNC's 4-4, but they did only lose by 10 to at Notre Dame this weekend. So that's why I stayed away from it. I'm cool with the pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if UNC does end up winning this
Okay.
because you never know when a team like Wake Forest is 8-0 at this point. They lose, they get upset just like how NC State did 2 weeks ago, and so
Yeah.
that's
I mean, hey, they
something
could
about
still
it.
lose, but I mean, as long as they only lose by 2.5 points, So,
Exactly.
um, I'm okay with that. So, all right, that's really all I had on. I didn't dive deep. Like I said, I really just trying to like go with like the does right in front of me and not overthink it. Like I feel like that's over. Like I don't know. I'm just not trying to overthink it. Like I'm not trying to think like like I don't know. I didn't want to dive too deep into it. That's why I'm just thinking Wake Forest. I know is a better football team. They've played better football this entire season. They're ranked way better than UNC is. UNC's had some tough losses. That's why I'm just feeling them. All right, let's go into your next one, and let's save the money lines for last.
I actually just realized that I didn't take a money line, so I'm clocking mine in right now.
Okay.
So I'm gonna save that for later. That
Got you.
was
Gotcha.
embarrassing.
Gotcha.
So I'll move on or continue. I like that. The obvious pick. I don't even think I need to say it. Michigan State -3 at Purdue. This is the biggest of the week. I saw some fool on, I think it was Bleacher Report, say that they think Purdue is going to win this. I think whoever wrote that should immediately be fired. I don't know who you are, as soon as I read that, I lost all credibility for the rest of the article and your predictions for the top 25. Michigan State's clearly the better team. They just beat a really good Michigan team. You think they're going to go lose to Purdue because they beat Iowa, who has shown us that they're not a good team anymore?
Exactly.
It makes no sense to me why Michigan State is only favored by 3. Their offense is just going to run all over this team. -3. Last time I got this confident in a pick and said I'd take them at -10 if I could. It lost, so I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I would take them at -3 because that's what it was, and I'm going to be very happy come Saturday when Michigan State wins and they stay number 3 in the playoff poll. So
Yeah. No. I have the exact same thing. Um, yeah. I mean, I had a few bullets on this. Just Michigan State hasn't let us down. We're 7-0 with them. I'm
exactly,
gonna keep riding. I'm gonna keep riding that wave.
my T-shirt still
Once
hasn't come in yet.
again, like with the Wake Forest thing, they're undefeated and they're ranked third by the playoff committee, and they're only
Exactly.
3-point favorites on Purdue. Which I understand Purdue. I get it that Purdue beat Iowa, but Iowa sucks. I mean, we're seeing that
Yeah,
Iowa's bad, and I
exactly.
don't think that I think that who's Iowa playing this week? I saw the game and I was thinking about it. I was like, they might actually lose that.
He's Northwest 3-5 Northwestern.
Yeah, and what's the line? Could you see it on there?
They're favored by 12.
Okay, so I don't know. I didn't think they're going to cover 12 points against them. That's the problem. I'm not going to take Iowa State or Iowa money line.
No.
So the exact same thing. Also, Purdue's 54th in rush defense, and then I just pulled these stats up of Kenneth Walker third. Right, he's second in rush yards. He's fourth in rush touchdowns. He's first in rush yards per game. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's ninth in yards per carry while having 260 more rush yards than the next highest running back in the top 10. Okay, and most of the top Ohio State's running back only has 800 yards, and while Kenneth Walker has over 1,100. So he's getting the ball more. And he's still in the top 10 in yards per carry, and he has
Mm-hmm.
the most total offense of any running back in the NCAA. Everyone else is just quarterbacks with him, and then he's tied for third in total touchdowns this season.
It's crazy. Yeah,
Exactly.
there's only one running back in the nation with more rush yards than him, and that's Sean Tucker from Syracuse because they don't really have much quarterback play, so they fully rely on him. And he also has 26 more uh, carries. So I
Exactly.
I don't see anyone stopping Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, especially not
And
Purdue.
I took a future, and like I said, I took a future on him to win the Heisman. So I
What'd you get it at?
I got it at
Because I've been trying to find an
plus
NCAA
1400.
future. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it like ran. It'll pop up. It doesn't happen during the week. Like sometimes it doesn't show up on the website, so I have to like try it multiple times in a day, and then the future will pop up. Yeah, I got it at plus 1400. Um, I'm not necessarily sure.
Oh, here we go. I found the Heisman. Heisman one's right here. Kenneth Walker plus 500. I like that. I'm just gonna go ahead.
So he's plus 500
Fuck it, I'm
now.
just gonna put $10 on it. Yeah,
Dang, and I got it at plus 1400. I'm liking
I
that.
know. How much did you spend on it?
I only put $7 down to win 101.
That's fire though. Mine's 10 to win 50, so I'm
I
cool with
love
that.
it.
I would just go ahead with it. I love futures. They're fun.
Me too.
Watch, he's gonna fucking he's oh
He's gonna get
shit.
hurt.
Yeah, he's gonna tear his ACL or
I
something.
hope not. I'm praying that doesn't happen. I love you,
But yeah,
Kenneth Walker.
exactly. All right, I'm gonna go to my next game here. I don't know how we didn't talk about this one sooner, but Auburn at Texas A&M. It's pretty much the only premier matchup this
The
that's
only
coming
top
up.
25 matchup.
Yeah, the only top 25 matchup right here. I really didn't put a ton of thought into this. I tried to just go with my gut, which my gut told me Auburn plus 5. Um, I don't know. I'm sure you took this game. What did you get it at?
I
probably
got it
lowest
at
weight
plus
myself.
4. I got it at plus 4.5.
Okay, cool. So you have Auburn as well.
I also have
So
Auburn as well.
we're pretty much in agreement on that then.
Yes.
My reasoning for it is I think I don't know. I don't hold a ton of weight. I know that Texas A&M beat Alabama, and that's like the best win of either two teams, right? But
Mhm.
I don't hold a ton of weight in it just because I don't know. I just feel like Bama had kind of an off game, and they beat them by a field goal. Like I mean, Bama really just kind of ran out of time in that game, um, which is part of it. But also Auburn beat Arkansas, and they beat Ole Miss easily, and A&M still lost to Arkansas. Like I'm not forgetting the first half of this season. I know Calzada has been kind of hot, but his last two games, he's played a terrible South Carolina. He's played a terrible Missouri, and yeah, they beat him. Um, but at the same time, I'm just not. I'm just not a fan of Texas A&M right now. I don't think that this team. I don't think they're gonna win. I would have taken Auburn like minus 2.5. I feel like, but like you never know. And I like him at plus 5. I mean, it's within a field goal. I'm into that. So that was my rationale on it. What was yours?
Yeah, I like that too. I don't know if they're necessarily going to win since it's at Texas A&M. That's the only reason that has me slightly concerned. But plus 4.5, I like it because even if they lose, I don't think they lose by more than a field goal.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident in it. I kind of think it's a pretty even matchup. The only game that I think has been more like a better matchup all year is Michigan State last week. So I think it's going to be a good game. But yeah, I think it'll be by a field goal either which way. So yeah, I would have also taken Auburn at minus 2.5, but being plus 4.5, I felt really confident in this pick because I do think Auburn is the better team. Just like I said, the only thing is home field advantage for Texas A&M and it being a top 25 matchup.
No, exactly. But I don't know. I'm feeling optimistic right now about. I'm feeling Auburn. We're Eagle. So, all
Where
right.
you go?
What's your next pick?
My next pick is I took a couple of smaller games,
No,
but
I noticed. I
I
noticed. I
know
just want you to
I
know that
like
I noticed.
this was my gut. This was my gut
It's
coming
like you
out.
sought out teams that aren't in the top 25.
Well, because last week I was looking at games that were had top 25 teams and I went with it. But this week I'm like, I'm just gonna look and whatever my gut says, I'm gonna go with, and then I'm gonna convince myself. So I went fully with my gut on all these picks, and then I narrowed down my short list. And so I'll start with the first one of these smaller matchups, I guess you could call them. Yeah, Fresno State -5 at home to Boise State. I think Fresno State is a better team than Boise State. I mean, Boise State can win any game. We've discussed that earlier, how they beat BYU. So I wouldn't hold off a Boise State victory. However, I think Fresno State's the better team. I think their quarterback, I talked about him a couple weeks ago, Jake Hayner. I'm not 100% if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he's fourth in FBS and passing yards. He has 2,888 yards, almost 3,000 passing yards, and he's seventh in passing touchdowns at 23. So I liked him. He ruined my bet for San Diego State last week. So I'm gonna say, I'm like, okay, Jake, I'm listening to you. I'm gonna take you and your Fresno State Bulldogs -5 against Boise State. So I don't know how much. I doubt you did much research on a Fresno State Boise State game.
No, I'm honestly disappointed that you took this day. I hope that you lose because you're betting against Boise State again.
Well,
Um,
I'll take if they lose, I will take my Boise State shirt and I'll wear it the entire day on I'll wear it under my Jaguar jersey at the game on Sunday.
there you go. You're gonna have to. I don't really have a play on this game. Are either of them in the top 25?
Fresno State is.
Where are they
They
at?
are in the college football playoff. They are at number 23.
Okay. All right. Well, we will
So
see how
this
that
is a top
goes.
25 game.
I don't really have an opinion on that one, just because I don't really watch them. Um, so, all
Well,
right. Well,
I
best of
watched them
luck.
all last. I watched them from 10:30 until 1 in the morning last week. So thank you.
Well, that's probably why no one watches them. All right.
What's your next pick?
It's better than Houston at USF, that's for sure.
Hey, we'll get there.
All right, I have a game that of two teams people actually watch. I have Oklahoma State at West Virginia. I have Oklahoma State minus 3.5. I like this pick. Oklahoma State hasn't let down. Again, another team that we're undefeated on. Also, I'm just trying to think of this plain and simple, okay? In the Big 12, Oklahoma State is ranked second, and West Virginia is ranked seventh. They should win. They should win this game by more than a field goal. So I'm just not trying to overthink this one. I think that's it right there. I mean, WVU is 4-4, and Oklahoma State is 7-1. So, I like this. The only team better in the Big 12 than Oklahoma State is Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's ranked 9th, and WVU is not ranked. So that's how I'm feeling about it. I don't know if you have any action on this one, but
I don't. I disagree. That's why I stayed away from it. I thought this was too risky of a pick. I wouldn't. I think you didn't overthink it enough.
Well, we're gonna see on Saturday.
Because something about West Virginia is just sticking out to me. Oklahoma State lost to Iowa State 2 weeks ago.
And then last week, team, though.
But you know what happened to Iowa State last week? They lost to West Virginia.
Yeah.
So that's very recent back-to-back weeks where Iowa State beats Oklahoma State, and the very next week goes to West Virginia, where this game is being played, and they lose to West Virginia by a touchdown. And I almost took West Virginia in that game, so something about my gut is liking West Virginia this year, and that is kind of why I didn't want to stay away, because I liked it. I liked Oklahoma State minus 3.5, but something inside me is just saying don't go against West Virginia because you never know with them. So I don't hate the pick, but I specifically stayed away from it because I didn't love the pick.
Okay. I hear that. I disagree with it. West Virginia is not that good of a football team. They don't have that good of a defense. They don't have that great of an offense. And again, they're 4-4 in the same conference that Oklahoma State plays in. So that's just what I'm thinking. I mean, there's 5 places between the two teams. So I don't know. They play the same people at this point. We're 8 games into the season. That's just kind of how I'm feeling about this now. I respectfully disagree with you, and we will see who is right on Saturday. So, all right. What's your next pick?
My next pick, well, since you said it, we'll rip the Band-Aid off, which I literally just did because I cut myself at work. So, literally and figuratively, we're ripping the Band-Aid off of this ugly matchup. Houston, minus 13 at USF. I know you have no play on it. You probably haven't watched a single second of either of these teams play all season.
I've watched UCF, I haven't watched either of them. Have you been watching them?
I watched a little bit of Houston, and sadly, I've watched a little bit of USF, who might just be minus UMass and UConn. I think USF is a top 5 worst team in this country. Houston, statistically, top 20 scoring offense, 37.2 points per game. USF, 109th ranked scoring defense, allowing about 32 points per game. And they also have a horrible scoring offense. So, really, minus 13, I love it. I love minus 13. I might just bet against USF every week. Maybe if that's a statistic we're keeping, I'm probably undefeated going against USF because they're that bad of a football program. Minus 13 for Houston.
Wow, okay.
Because I have no respect for the South Florida Bulls. I think they're an atrocious football program. And honestly, they should probably shut down. I know our uncle, for you who don't know him, I know Christopher would love that pick. The UCF grad. He hates USF. So I'm always going to pick against USF regardless of their rivalry with UCF. I just think they're that bad of a football program and should probably shut it down, given they play their games at the Buck Stadium with probably like 2 people in the stands every week. So,
Okay. All right. 2 teams.
I've talked to Christopher too much, so I
Yeah,
have
I
a
think
little bit
so.
of passion against USF now. He's convinced me to hate the USF football program.
No, yeah, I can tell. Um, that was 2 unranked teams, Tony. Strong feeling it must be. All right,
No, Houston
Houston's where?
is in the AP poll.
I don't care about the AP now.
Oh, you don't care about the AP? I think they're better than the college football playoff.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because the college football playoff matters.
But
That's
they're
what I'm
ranked
saying.
but on the AP they're ranked 20th.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just to put that in there.
Sure, sure. I have no play on this game, but I was just not interested in it because they're both unranked teams. Okay. My next pick is going to be Tulsa at Cincinnati. I have Cincinnati minus 22.5. I know it's a lot of points, but Tulsa or Cincinnati's average margin of victory is 24.3 points, and that they both are in the AAC, right? Um, so their average margin of victory is against 24.3 points against mostly AAC conference members, while Tulane is the worst in the AAC at 1-7. So I don't think Tulane's just going to have some miracle game here. They both play the same amount of conference games. Tulane's 0-4 and Cincinnati's 4-0. And I just have a gut feeling that Cincinnati is angry after these rankings came out. And I think they're going to come out here and they're going to put up like 40 points on Tulane because they're just going to be pissed off. So that was kind of how I felt on
That's
that
a
one. So
I don't hate it, and just for a record, Tulsa did beat USF. Just saying, if we're talking about how bad they are, I don't hate it. I kind of agree. The way Cincinnati's played the last 2 weeks kind of had me on edge, but I think these rankings are gonna light something under this team, and I think they're gonna come out firing. And I like it. 22.5 is big. That's almost too many points, but I like where you're coming from. I like their passion's going to come out after the being ranked 6, and they're going to show this college football playoff. Be like, okay, we're not beating our opponents by enough. Now we're going to run up the score and try and win by 40. So I didn't take it, but I like where you're coming from on this.
yeah, I didn't really try to overthink it too much. I mean, Tulsa sucks. So
Exactly.
Tulsa's really bad. Cincinnati's really good. I'm not going to overthink this. They can totally beat them by 22.5 points. Again, their margin of victory is more than that. So I don't see why Tulsa would be the team that sticks out and is a hard win for them. So that's what I'm thinking on that one. What is your next take? You have 2
Do you
more.
want me to do one of the? I have 3 more.
Yep, you have 3 more, and I have 3 more as well. So I mean, yeah, it's between Oregon at Washington and USC Arizona State.
You also had outside UTEP. Did I not write that in there?
No, you have it in there. I was just reading the
Okay.
ones that you had like originally.
Okay. So we'll go. I'll go.
Let's
This
get a
one's
60-second rundown on USC Arizona State because I have nothing to say about that game.
okay. Arizona State -8.5 against USC. I think they're both the offenses. They're pretty even, but Arizona State has a better defense. I think that's going to help keep them the victory. Um, I do think -8.5 is a little high, but they're on a 2-game losing streak, and I kind of want to see them bounce back against this below average USC team and win by 10, 17 points. So there's my 60-second rundown. Arizona State -8.5.
Yeah, well, I like that. I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable betting 8.5 points on Arizona State. Um, it's hard to determine with that team, but I don't really have much to tell you about because I've only watched. I think I've watched one or two Arizona State games, but it's been late at night and I didn't really have a play on it. So, all right, my next game I'll hop into is LSU at Alabama. I do not have a spread. I don't have a money line in this game. I actually took the Bama team total over 46 and a half.
Okay.
It's really high. I know it sounds really high, but it really isn't too bad. First of all, roll tide. You
Roll
know,
Tide, baby.
roll tide. Also, LSU allowed Kentucky and Florida to score 42 points on them, and Bama has a better offense than both of those teams. Um, so LSU's all up in shambles right now with the whole Ogeron thing, and he's leaving, and the team's just not competitive at the moment, really. They're competitive, but I think it's going to be a game where we're going to score a lot of points in. So I got Bama on the over. I think it's kind of an exciting pick. I just kind of wanted to fill that 7 o'clock block because I didn't have any teams from. I had like a 3:30 games. I had like four 3:30 games, and then I had a one game at like 10 o'clock, which is the UTSA UTEP game. So I wanted to fill that block up. So I was like, why not? So
That's
I think
fair.
it'd be fun to watch, and I think it's possible. Did you have a play on this game or no?
I did not. I like that pick, so
Okay.
I don't really have much more to add to.
All right, awesome. Okay, let's hop into your last spread.
My last spread.
Or do you have two
Okay,
spreads left?
I'm
Do
just
you add
gonna.
another money line?
My money line was one of I just put my money line on one of my spreads.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I'll go with these last two games are both my spread. I'll get to my money line when we get there.
Okay.
So since you have the Utsa game, I got this one's a little bit surprising. I'd say this is my. I wouldn't say it's a lock. It's my diamond pick, my diamond in the rough. Washington +7 against Oregon. I I I really don't think Oregon's that good. I don't think Washington's good, but that's how poorly I think of Oregon. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I think I saw somewhere that it's supposed to be cold and rainy for this game, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of offense. It's going to be a messy game. Uh, the only team Washington has allowed to score over 30 points all year is Michigan, and I think Michigan's a better team than Oregon. I think they'd win by 2 touchdowns if they played each other. Um, I think I like +7 because I think it could be a 7 point loss for Washington. So I'd be fine with a push on this one. I wouldn't. It would be better than a loss. So if it pushes, it pushes. But I wouldn't. I also wouldn't be surprised if Washington wins this game and just shows how poor these college football playoffs are and knock Oregon down to 10. And if they want to keep their head to head, then let them move Ohio State to 11. So I think I like Washington +7 here.
Yeah. I feel like this is a game that's like it could hit, but at the same time, like I feel like my gut's telling me that Oregon's gonna win that game by double digits. Um, I don't know. It's hard sometimes comparing with college football back to other games, like how many points were allowed. I don't know. I just feel like Oregon's so hit or miss. Like they're either gonna blow you out or they're not. So yeah, I like it. I feel like it's a 50-50 shot. you know.
Yeah.
So I like it. All right, my last spread. I don't know if it's your last spread or not. I think it is. Yeah, it's UTSA at UTEP.
Yep.
You probably don't have this, but I have UTEP plus 11.5.
Oh my.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it sounds like we have ourselves a little lock fight here.
A lock fight. What do you got? What
I
do you got?
UTSA -11.
Minus 11. Okay. All right. All right. Here's my rationale, and we'll go with it. Um, UTEP is eighth in total defense, while UTSA is 31st in total defense. Now, on the other hand, UTSA is 33rd in offense, and UTEP is 73rd. They both play in the same conference. What are they playing again? What's it called? Like the Sun Belt?
Yeah.
No, is that what it is? Is the Sun Belt?
Are they in the Sun Belt or the Conference USA?
Let me check real quick.
I think that's still
They're in Conference USA.
Conference
They're in
USA.
Conference USA. So both these teams, they're 1 and 2 in Conference USA West, and they're better. They're both better than Florida Atlantic, in my opinion. The reason I like it is just because I look at a lot of margins of victory averages this week, and UTSA averages 15.9, which is obviously more than 11.5. But I don't think that UTEP's like an average team for the Conference USA. Like they're an above average team. I like this. I feel like it could be like a 10-point game. I don't expect them to win by any means, but I think it'd be a 10-point game. So that's kind of what I'm feeling about this. I didn't try to overthink it. I thought that with UTEP having a better defense than UTSA, and then UTSA have a better offense, I think it kind of sets it up for a kind of even, closer scoring matchup. So that's where I'm thinking about that. But I would love to hear the other opinion on this.
For the record, UTEP did just lose to FAU this weekend.
All right, whatever.
But I did the same thing as you. I didn't try to overthink it. So my thing is UTEP 6-2, UTSA is undefeated, and I know the college football committee didn't rank them, but the AP has them at 16 for a reason. So I think UTSA is one of the last undefeated teams. I think they'll feel disrespected. You know, how you felt with Cincinnati. I think they're going to feel disrespected that they were left out of the top 25 of the college football playoff. I think the quarterback, Frank Harris, he's going to come in. He's going to light up this defense, and they're going to show the committee, be like, okay, you don't want to include us. The same reason they're going to try and beat their opponents by as much as possible to show, hey, we should be ranked in the top 25. Obviously, San Antonio is not going to make it to the playoff, but I think they deserve to be ranked in the top 25. I think if they played Wisconsin, they beat Wisconsin. Or Minnesota.
You think that UTSA would beat Wisconsin?
Yes, I don't respect Wisconsin or Kentucky.
Wisconsin's not been bad in the past few weeks.
Put them up against Kentucky.
I don't know. I don't really. I just don't hold any weight with Conference USA. So hey, maybe they're gonna come out here and thrash them, but I just don't. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a close game, and I have that UTEP shirt, or I had it, when I was younger. So let's go Miners. All right. Let's hop into our money lines real quick. So I took the. It's a weird game, and I'm totally just going off of a hunch because I figured I'm tired of betting small money lines. California at Arizona. I think you know what I took. Arizona plus 300.
Oh my.
Whatever.
What's telling you that?
What's telling me that? Arizona's due. They haven't won a football game in now 2 years from this date. They have to win a game at some point. California's not good, so this is a team that they could beat. They're not better at California in any total offense or total defense. They're similar. They're 10 spaces apart in total defense, and they're 40 spaces apart in total offense. So I'm not saying that Arizona's better than California. I just think that Arizona's due, and I don't think that they're so drastically far apart that they couldn't win this game. And I didn't really see any other money lines on the slate that I was just dying over. I was more interested, and I was I wanted to take a fun little risk on this one, so that's what I did.
Well, I can't blame you for it. I wouldn't take it, but I like a little fun risk, so I respect it. I hope it works out for you.
There you go. Okay, and what is your?
Yours? Since I forgot and I just took it, I just went with what I knew and what I was confident with. So Auburn plus 175 at Texas A&M. So
you didn't take an original game.
I mean, I could have, but out of the underdogs that I have looked at, I don't think Kansas is gonna beat Kansas State.
So you took Auburn plus what?
175.
175. Okay.
Yeah, if I'm looking at these underdogs, I don't like Arizona. Um, I don't think TCU is gonna do it. I don't know much about Wyoming.
All right.
Actually, if I took one, I would have taken West Virginia plus 150 against Oklahoma State.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, all right. Well, that's all of my locks. That's all of yours.
Yes.
So, anything else to add on to this?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, hopefully we will have good weeks, and you guys will have good weeks, and we'll be right back with a little rundown. All right, guys, and we are back for the rundown of the Poor Man's Playbook. I thought it was a fun podcast today, so we're just going to talk about the bets we had. So tonight, a little bit of hockey action. I had the Maple Leafs minus 135 against the Lightning, and they hit it. So let's go. Exciting, right? And then
Awesome.
I had the Jets plus 10. Did not work
Okay.
out for me.
Let's just not even talk about that game.
I'm not going to talk about it. I also had a parlay between Georgia State and to win the game money line, and then with the Suns to win the game money line as well. But Georgia State lost, so it was playing there, winning the majority of the game, and then they lost in the very end. So that was really fun. I also took the St. Louis Blues minus 120, but the Sharks just scored a goal, so
It's
not looking the best for me at the moment. I also have a 12-teamer for Saturday I cooked up. I completely forgot about
I love 12 teamers.
it. It's a very conservative 12-teamer. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm just
A
gonna hop
12
into
teamer is a
this.
12 teamer.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. A 12-teamer is a 12-teamer. It's 5 to win $43. So the odds on it are plus 871. So it's honestly not a ton.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. So I have Ohio State money line Nebraska. I have Coastal Carolina money line Georgia Southern. I got Houston money line South Florida. I got Michigan money line Indiana. I got Oregon money line against Washington, which I know you don't really love that, but I like it. I got Utah State money line against New Mexico State. I got Wisconsin money line Rutgers. Notre Dame money line Navy. East Carolina money line Temple. Pittsburgh money line Duke. Mississippi or Ole Miss money line Liberty. And then I have, this is the sketchiest part of the whole thing, is Army money line Air Force.
Ooh.
Right, so I'll know literally the first game on Saturday is Army Air Force. So if that hits, if that part of it hits, then then that's it. I mean, maybe we've got it.
Yeah.
So, I just put like a little $5 on it because I was like, whatever, it's a value thing. So I put that out, and then my last thing I bet on, for anyone who listens to UFC or watches UFC, I bet on Michael Chandler money line against Justin Gaethje. I like Michael Chandler. I think that it was an early stoppage when he lost the title fight with Charles Oliveira. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe he was knocked out. Debatable. But I like him. I think that Michael Chandler is a savage. So I'm looking forward to this fight. Should be going. So we're gonna see that. And also this weekend, one more fight thing I have. I made this a long time ago. It's my oldest standing parlay right now. I placed it on October 7th, and it's gonna either cash or it's gonna miss on November 6th. But it was the parlay with Canelo winning the fight against Caleb Plant. Canelo a minus 900 favorite, and then Tyson Fury to knock out Deontay Wilder, which he did. So this was a not like a crazy one. It's just odds were plus 104, but I figured it was just kind of like a moneymaker here. So that will either hit or miss. But I'm looking forward to that. And I mean, Canelo's by far favorite. So if you could cinch that up, that'd be great. So all right, that pretty much pretty much covers it for me. What about your
I
rundown?
like it. Um, I had on Tuesday night. I went 2 for 3 on some action, and then I missed the parlay last night. But I had a nice little NHL parlay where I had the Oilers money line matched with -240, matched with the Hurricanes money line -160, and that hit. So I'm happy with that. Again, had a Jets prop parlay. Let's not even mention it. Disgusted with them right now.
I would be.
And then I also took the St. Louis Blues -115, but you said that they're losing right now, so I'm not necessarily happy about that. So I might just stick to betting on the Lightning and the Oilers from now on. But and then I also cooked up. I just cooked it up between our break. This nice 4-team NFL parlay, which has the Raiders -170 at the Giants, the Ravens -260 against the Vikings, the Patriots -190 at Carolina,
Did you say
and
the Raiders?
Raiders at Giants,
Oh,
and then
okay.
Ravens against the Vikings. And then
I like
last,
those. The only thing I don't like about it is I really don't like the Raiders right now after the whole Henry Ruggs thing. The Raiders have gone through a lot this season with John Gruden and now Henry Ruggs. I just feel like this is like a very sketchy team right now.
but they keep winning, and the Giants are bad. So
I mean, yeah. If you just want to think about it like that, that simply,
I'm
yeah.
keeping
I
it
just think that like,
simple.
yeah, that's definitely the simplest way to think about that. So I know what you're saying. I also have one more little thing I just threw in. Or you keep going with the rest of yours, and I'll tell you mine at the end. Which one's
my
the
la-
most
my last pick was the Cardinals +105 at the 49ers, and so that's my 14 parlay. And I'm kind of considering taking Jacksonville +14.5 against the Bills because I saw somewhere that there's a Manning curse, and every time a player goes on the Eli and Peyton Manning, the Manning cast for Monday Night Football, that they lose the next week. And every time, and Josh Allen was just on the Manning cast, and I don't think the Jaguars are going to win, but +14.5 in case it does happen doesn't scare me as much. So I haven't taken it, but I'm considering it because of said curse.
okay? Heard. I like it. Anything else?
That's it for me.
My last one's super stupid, but I just live bet the under in the NFL game, and then of course the Jets score a touchdown right after.
Yeah,
So it's okay though. It's at 71.5. So I just don't need any more touchdowns. That's what we're hoping for.
that's what you're hoping for because my fantasy team needs multiple touchdowns for the Jets.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see how that happens. All right.
It probably won't.
Yeah. Hopefully they just the Colts stop being awesome this game, and hopefully the Jets have like a really long and unsuccessful drive. So
Hopefully the Jets jet.
hopefully the Jets jet. That's the goal here. So all right, let's go. All right, that's about all I have for this one today. You have anything else?
That's it for me.
All right. This has been week 10 of college football with the poor man's playbook. Thank you so much for listening. We look forward
Thank
to
you.
talking to you next time.
On Sunday.
Yep. Bye bye.